Hi everyone, welcome back to Aussie wristwatch. Slightly more upbeat mood today than I was on Friday, of course. Thank you to the people who commented in a appropriate manner given the circumstance, and to the ones that didn't, I'll just leave them be. Anyway, I wanted to do a little bonus today. First of all, because congratulations to Max for winning the Pro Diver Panzera watch. So congratulations, and thank you to everyone else who entered and had a little bit of fun with it. Some of the comments were gold. Thank you so much. I think it was Brett or someone in the US. I really loved his comments. So sorry I can't replace the classic old beater that you've got going on at the moment. Maybe next time. Wrist check first. Again, I've forgotten, right? So I've got my tag Monaco on today in honor of Max, who in the chat when I was getting his details to send him the watch, told me he's got his eye on one of these. So there you go, Max. It's in the flesh, on the wrist. I'm wearing it a bit loose today, sorry. But yeah, it's a fantastic watch. We're going to go on a little, not a rant, just some observations and conversation about Rolex. Yep, my favorite brand. Yesterday I went on a little shopping adventure with my wife where, as you know, going on holidays, just so everyone knows, our house will not be empty while we're away. We have house sitters, so criminals beware. But no, we went shopping because, you know, it's been COVID. It's our first trip since COVID. I've got to get out of my tracksuit pants, so I had to get some different attire. And of course I paid the COVID tax, so I've got a bit of COVID weight. We can deal with that when I get back. But yeah, went shopping, good 6 hours trudging around town, and of course had to go and have a quick look at some watches. There's an absolutely awesome secondhand watch store in one of the arcades in Sydney that has great watches. So ducked in there, had a really quick look, had a couple of cosmonauts in the window actually, so I was pretty excited about that. And then wandered down a bit further to another store. And the topic or the subject of my conversation this afternoon, that was not 100% but predominantly selling Rolexes. And what became very evident is, because it wasn't an AD, they're an authorised second-hand dealer from what I understand. But the majority, not all, but the majority of the second-hand watches in that window, or at least the significant ones that I will talk about, are from this year. So, and I'm not having a crack at this store, I'm just having a crack at the situation as I'm learning about the whole Rolex journey, right? So you've got to remember, up until this year, I had no concept. Because you know I love watches, but I'm very new to this whole collecting and enthusiast business. I had no idea until this year. You guys have seen the rant that you couldn't walk into a store and buy a Rolex. I get that now. It's okay. And the whole list thing and this whole playing of games still blows my mind. Because it's not a game that's weighted in favor of a genuine watch collector or enthusiast. It's, you know, like, it's arbitrary. It is all subject to who you deal with. It's totally subjective, you know, if you're a good customer or not. And a good customer could mean a flipper. Let's be totally honest and totally realistic about this. People have told me in the comments, people have had a crack at me in the comments for how fucking stupid and naive I am, whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to get through this process and understand it, and I don't want to play any games, right? And I think it's totally fine to be upfront about that. But yeah, I mean, what I saw yesterday was quite clearly flipping, and it really gave me the shits because I saw a Batman, a Batgirl, a Pepsi, a Daytona. I think, to be fair, the Daytona was maybe a 2020 model, but the Pepsi and the Batman and the Batgirl were 2022 models from, you know, a few months ago. Now, I'm sure some people might buy a watch and then need to sell it for various reasons, whatever. But come on. So whoever's been given those watches off a list they have made themselves into the store almost immediately upon purchase. So that's not really within the spirit of what we're told the lists are, right? We're talking about lists of people who really want and aspire to these watches. And sure, I get it, there's rich people out there. I mean, my wife said to me yesterday, well, if I really wanted that watch, I'd probably just go and buy it, because I'm not going to wait or be subjected to that stupid arbitrary system that they do in the store. So I get that too. And yeah, if I was in that position, unfortunate, maybe I wouldn't care. But it really irks me that, yeah, these watches were like 40 grand. So I think retail here in Australia, those watches, you know, give or take a few thousand here or there, sit around 15. I mean, that's crazy, right? I'd look them up. I don't want to name the store because I don't think that's fair. So I don't really want to look them up and show you guys, because that, I think, will just, that's not within the spirit of what I'm trying to have a discussion about. I'm trying to have a discussion about the system. If people want to play the system, more power to them. But I don't know how you fix this system. It's clear that Rolex probably doesn't want to fix it. But I just like, is there a code of conduct that they could implement for their ADs? You know, is there an audit system that can be put in place to spot check where these watches are going and to whom they're going? It's going to be pretty clear if they did something like that, who's selling to a flipper. Because you're going to see how often they're selling to the same person. I don't care who you are as a collector, you're not going to have 50 GMT Pepsis, are you? Or Batmans or whatever. Or Daytonas, whatever your jam is. But yeah, I mean, it's like I've said before, if I never get that watch, fine. Oh, my production assistant just came off break, just walked into the office, and she's shaking and sniffing, so if you can hear those sounds, that would be Tegan. Look, sorry, I digress. I guess, yeah, I'm irked. I'm irked, not because I'm like, that's a watch I could have had, although maybe, but it's just more about the system. You know, it's really clear that people are buying these watches somewhere, so obviously through an AD at retail or thereabouts, and are very quickly flipping them, and it's happening in my own backyard. You know, so this whole bullshit around, well, the AD is going to sell to the person that they've got the relationship with, and that they're going to, you know, that they've bought at watch buying history. Yes, I'm sure there are ADs out there who genuinely look after their good clients, and they're good clients who are collectors. Good client is not flipper. But there are clearly ADs out there who look after the flipper. And it's a self-perpetuating wheel, isn't it? Like, yeah, so I've now seen it firsthand. I think it's rubbish. I think it's probably not within the spirit of what genuine ADs and boutiques try to do as people who love Rolex and love watches and really want those watches to go in the hands of people who are really going to get joy from them, right? Because that, to me, is what it's about. It doesn't matter whether it's a Rolex or some other model, it's what that person derives joy from. I mean, that's why I buy watches. That's why they make me feel good, because I just love them. And there are other people out there who just love them, you know, and there's that person out there who's turning 30 or 40 or 50 or retiring, or I don't know, having a wedding or whatever the case may be, and they are getting deprived of the opportunity because they might only ever be able to get one watch ever of that level, and they can't get that watch because we have this really weird system in place from Rolex. And I'm not talking about the basics of supply and demand, people. I'm talking about a process to dish out that watch. We're not talking about a Ferrari that costs $1 million. I mean, that's just like comparing apples and oranges. It's fucking stupid. You know, and I'm not talking about Porsche, because the majority of Porsches, and let's do it this way, the Macan or a Boxster, that is, in reality, a Rolex steel sports watch. It is the lower cost models of the brand at a retail cost. You know, and you can still walk into a Porsche and buy that without having to give them some spiel about how much money you earn, or buying, I don't know, 3 other cars before you go on the list. Sure, you buy it, you go on a list, you have to wait 9 to 12 months to get it because it has to get built, it goes in a lead time. They tell you all that. That is fine. This is a totally different system. Again, I am talking about a $10,000 to $15,000 watch bracket here. Like, I'm not talking about getting a precious metal watch that costs 50, 60, 70, 80 grand. Like, that's what blows my mind. So yeah, supply and demand. Don't get on there again and tell me about a fucking Ferrari. I mean, I don't want a Ferrari, and even if I did, like, I mean, that's $1 million car, people. That's what irritates me about this system. I don't mind exclusivity. In fact, I quite like it. But when the system is like that, I just think it's a little bit mixed up. I think you're doing a disservice to your customer or your potential customer base by having this kind of system in place. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not suggesting that they can simply just flick a switch and make more watches. I am not suggesting that at all. In fact, having worked in manufacturing for a very long time, it's simply not that easy. Even if they wanted to do it, and I doubt that they'd ever want to do it. That's not really my point. I guess my point is, flipping is clearly going on, as we know. I've now seen it firsthand. It's happening in my city, which means there are ADs out there that are facilitating this. There are enablers out there who are doing this. So, pretty clear that Rolex knows this is happening, and they obviously don't care. And if they did care, well, what are you doing about it? And, you know, I come back to that experience in the Syndney store where apparently, just as an addition, I was sent there from an AD from a different brand. They actually rang that AD and said, "Who is this customer? Is she a difficult customer?" To which my AD responded, no, her and her wife are like some of our loveliest clients. Yeah, so it's not me, guys. All I wanted was someone to be honest with me about that process and not be condescending. That to me is what was rude, not the saying no part, it's the how you said no. So, like I said, there's no real point to this other than a bit of a rant. I just think it's wrong. You know, make them exclusive, make them hard to get, do a list for people, but you know, it's quite clearly that it's full of shit. There are ADs out there who are clearly selling under the table to people, who are clearly putting those people at the top of the list to flip. It's, in my view, it doesn't really feel within the spirit of how that should be done. Again, I'm quite happy if I'm always at the bottom of the list by virtue of the fact that I haven't bought from a brand and they've got genuine clients who just have. Like, I get that reality. But I don't think flippers are in that same bucket. Particularly when you go into a store and they're like, please don't buy secondhand. Please don't buy from a flipper. I'm like, well guys, you're not making it very easy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments again about this, and it's not really about that. It's more about a genuine conversation. I'm going to get the people having a crack at me again, telling me how stupid or, you know, naive I am. Whatever. Bring it. But, yeah, I don't think it's... Yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect a level of integrity in a process. And there doesn't seem to be any integrity in this process. Thanks.